Okay, I know I've been super inconsistent with my streams because this preparing for this event has just been taking up a lot of my times and my mornings are jam packed. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be trading. I am definitely still trading. It's just setting up for a stream is a little bit more effort and energy and time and everything. So that's the part that took a little bit of a back seat. But let's just recap what happened since Monday. So Monday, I mean, this whole week so far has been a little bit. Let me get to a higher time frame. This whole week so far has been a little bit of a boring week. Um, Let me get more real estate here. So Friday is right here, and on Sunday, I didn't do anything Sunday. So on Monday, I took a short because I was seeing. I think it was on the 30 minute. I was seeing a little bit of divergence. Was it 15 or 30? I don't know, but I think I did talk about that. And then there's trade was working, but I moved my stop to break even after it hit the halfway point, which was around here. So I got stopped out for a break even after it came back up. Although if I took the trade again at the 500, it would have eventually worked out. Um, because here's the 250 right here. I did have a long at the 250 and the 175 because I saw this area, which looks nicer on the 30 minute, I think, or maybe on the 1 hour. No, 15 minute does look the nicest with this hammer candle with a bullish engulfing. I like that formation, so I wanted to play it and textbook, quarter trade. So like if for some people they would only go for the candle itself. With quarters, oftentimes, you know, I mean, it's just a different style. You're gonna be able to take it much earlier, and it never actually made it down. This candle never came into play. But I treat it as like a formation. This is just because I trade price, not time. So I don't care how long it takes for this reversal to happen. The fact that it happened here indicates to me that around this area of price near the quarter and the backup of that quarter, there is an imbalance of orders that of pending buy orders that didn't get filled yet, or that got filled and there were not enough sell orders to push the price down. That's what this formation indicates. So I care more about what the meaning of the formation is than getting bogged down on the details of the formation itself. Like, oh, at what point am I going to take it? So this is just the area of interest for me because it's a quarter and a lot of imbalances happen often on quarters. Like that's the edge. Uh, I kind of wish this is the third time that I moved the stop to break even in a row, and it uh, stopped me out for a break even, and then it ended up working. So that's a little bit annoying, because that's 3 wins in a row that I missed out on because of my set of rules. So I don't really know what the percentages are in terms of how many times did I get saved, but if we do the math there, 3 wins, in order for that to really be saving me, that means that I would have had to have lost more 9 times or more, or gotten saved 9 times or more for that to actually be evening out. So it's um, I don't know what the statistics are because I don't track to that level of granularity because I think that's a the juice is not worth the squeeze on that. So in that sense, you can call me a little bit of a lazy trader, a little bit of a um, yeah. You can. I mean, I guess that's the best way to summarize it. But to me, the less information I have to be able to make a sound decision, the better. Like I'm not the kind of person, or the kind of trader, or even the kind of person in any field, where I hoard information, because I think that the more information you have, at some point you get like a severe diminishing return, and it's the nature of humans. Like we're not robots that can just process endless amounts of information. There's a definite ceiling to how much information we can actually make use of. And if you get more than that, it just opens up the door very quickly and very widely for analysis paralysis. So I know that about myself. I think that's true for more people than are willing to admit. Um, but I also don't. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do. Right? They can do whatever they want. Right? But for me, less information. Uh, I care more about the quality of the decision making process, than the amount of information that I have with which to make a decision. Right? It's the volume of information that isn't as high of a priority. So that's why for me, it's like I'm talking about a gut feeling here. It's like, I'm debating whether I want to really um, continue to do the break stop to break even kind of thing, especially since it didn't actually make a new high, right? So it's like if it went down and chopped up and then made a new low, then this area, for example, would have been a new high, and then there's a justification. So I'm not against moving my stop to break even, but the criteria of like it's just halfway to target is maybe a little bit too premature for the size of the trades that I'm doing. Because I'm noticing that it does do that, because it does like to come back to, and this is a common thing in the institutional level as well, is to push the price down, because you can't, like, if I wanted to sell a bunch of shares or contracts or whatever you want to call it, um, depending on the exchange you're operating out of, like at 32,500, if I had a lot of orders there and I'm a giant institution, I can't actually it there's not enough liquidity. For example, well, on the index it might not be the case, but for example, let's say there's not enough liquidity for me to fill like 10 million or 25 million, 50 million shares, that or contracts. Then I would take some of it and let the amateurs and novices be and jump on the bandwagon and buy the dip, quote unquote, and then push the price back up, and then I get filled on the rest of it later. It's a very common institutional move to do stuff like that, and like I feel like that's what I've been getting reminded about, as these things tend to stop me out for break even. So that's one adjustment. Just psychologically, I feel like I'm okay handling losses. Um, it's a good idea to guarantee a break even or a free trade. But I'm reevaluating the criteria with which I decide to do stuff like that. So on to the next day. Kind of a boring day. It just chopped around. But on the overnight last night, no, not even the overnight. Jeez, this is how little I've been looking at the markets these days. I just had a order waiting at the 250, and I got picked up. What was it? Yesterday. Yesterday is Tuesday. Yesterday in the afternoon, it picked me up here. It must have alerted me, but I wasn't even paying attention. What was I doing yesterday at 1? Oh, I was in meetings from like 12 to like 6. So I wasn't paying attention to any of this stuff. um, I just had a winning trade within I guess 12 hours or so. Let me just look this. Yeah, within 12 hours, this textbook move. Right at the quarter, we had the formation that we liked on the 15-minute in that area, and so I was comfortable leaving a trap there. I even had a backup one in case that didn't work out, and it worked out pretty textbook. And I took a profit at the 500. I didn't take the short again at the 500 because that order was already eaten up by this break even, but the backup order of it was sitting there. Now, you could argue that that order should have been taken off, but I mean, there's this. I mean, but I got a little bit lucky that I kind of like it because there's this weakness in momentum that you see on the 15 minute here. We got bearish divergence here, back to back, two new highs made and two new lows made back to back. And so that's on the 30 minute is even more obvious. It's just one though. And on the 1 hour, it's obvious as well. We have the upside down kangaroo candle. I didn't know any of this. This is just me looking at this for the first time today. This is not part of my analysis that made me enter. Obviously, I entered back here before all of this started happening. I just had the trap waiting there. So this is a little bit of luck. But if I didn't have the order here, I would definitely take it again. So I like the fact that I had the trap waiting here. So we have the divergence, we have the shooting star, inverted hammer candle, kangaroo, whatever you want to call this, and then the bearish engulfing candle, all on the hourly chart, which is a pretty reliable time frame for the scope of trading that I do. And this is right now we're getting a little bit of a pullback, and again, this is one of those situations. Like, would I have gotten, let's see, according to my rules, was this halfway? No, technically it's not halfway, so I wouldn't have moved my stop to break even yet. But this is what I'm talking about. If we zoom out a little bit, it works, and then the trade is working. The bearish movement is holding, and then there's a retracement back to the quarter, or in this case the hesitation, the upper band of the quarter, which is 75 points above the actual quarter, which is 500 is here, 75 is up here. It retraces back, and then hopefully all signs point to this making a new low. And if that happens in this situation, because it entered, made a low that's lower than the previous low on the 15 minute anyway, and then made a high and then makes a new low, that to me is grounds for like a better statistically a technical analysis reason to move the stop up, not just because it hits the halfway point, for the first time. And if I were to go back and do an analysis, I think that it would probably show that the times that I got stopped out for a break even, it was on the first retracement of the move. But I would have to go back and check, which again, this is a part-time effort. That's something I would like to see, but that's one piece of statistics and data that I would like to see, but I don't need it. I don't need back testing for that necessarily, because that's just a fine tuning tweak kind of thing, and that's something I'm fine forward testing. So that's it for today. A little bit of a longer session to catch up on the past 3 days. Took a couple of wins. Almost halfway to my target of passing this challenge, and we'll see how this trade pans out tomorrow.